After 35 years with the National Park Service, the Chief Ranger of the Great Smoky Mountains is retiring. Steve Kloster was involved in hundreds of rescues and guided the park through the blizzard of '93 and the Sevier County wildfires. As 10 News reporter Mark Salinger shows us, today everyone from state troopers to firefighters gathered to celebrate Kloster and his long career.
Beyond the beauty and tranquility of the mountains and rivers,
I arrived in August of 1988.
There's been another constant for the past 3 decades in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
The remoteness of the area, you're in possession of stolen property and we charge accordingly. A lot more people are out there trying to poach it.
It's always been illegal to take any type of plants out of the national park.
Chief Ranger Steve Kloster has been there for every hiker, camper, and tourist to visit the park.
I never dreamed when I came here that I would stay here this long.
Over the years,
this is more challenging because we're so close to the river.
Kloster has rescued hundreds of people.
When we talk search and rescue, we're talking really 2 different things. We're talking searching for lost people and rescues.
In 1992, he received the Georgia Medal for Valor.
Citation of the Georgia Medal for Valor to Ranger Stephen Kloster.
After he rappelled from a helicopter to rescue the pilot of an F-15 fighter jet that crashed in the park.
It was scary, not only rappelling out of the helicopter and reaching the ground safely, but into the remoteness of the area.
All the rescues that I participated in were special.
Thursday, Sevier County gathered to celebrate their Chief Ranger.
He's leaving behind a legacy when it comes to being a ranger's ranger.
Just like the beauty of the park.
I'm going to miss helping people. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're the National Park Service. We're here to serve the public. I'm going to miss that, serving the public.
Steve Kloster's legacy will live on forever. Mark Salinger, WBIR 10 News.
Kloster began his career in 1983 in Pennsylvania. He served as Chief Ranger at the Great Smoky Mountains National Park since 2015.